Hello, my name is Mark and I'm one of the rehabilitation therapists from Flint House. This video is a sample of our spinal mobility classes that we run for patients at Flint House. The goal of this class is pretty much what it says on the tin, to improve the mobility of your back. This means that you should stay relaxed throughout and not engage any core muscles. It should be pain-free, but to improve your range of motion we want you to push into a little bit of discomfort. The video is demonstrated with just a mat, but if you find you need some more support, pillow under your head for instance, or an extra mat, please use one. Most of the exercises that we'll cover involve laying on your back, and if you can't lie on your back for too long, please get up and move around and have a break as you require. Just pause the video when you do so. So we're going to start with knee rolls. Lay on your back, knees bent up, feet flat on the floor, and gently press your ankles and knees together, rolling them as far to one side of your body as you comfortably can before returning to the middle, repeating on the other side. This exercise is designed to mobilise your lower and middle back and open up your hips and glutes. Remember to stay relaxed throughout, keeping your head, neck and shoulders in contact with the mat. To progress this exercise, we can add the arms into the situation. With the knees and arms pointing to the ceiling, roll the knees left and the arms to the right, and then vice versa. This increases the rotation around the spine to progress the exercise. If this is too much, please revert back to just knee rolls. Next we're going to move on to our first stretch, turning the knee rolls into a glute stretch by pulling your left knee to your chest, grabbing it with your right hand and gently pulling the knee down towards the floor, feeling the stretch in your left buttock or glute. Try and hold this stretch for a whole minute if you can. If you can't, just swap legs as you require. If this position doesn't give an effective stretch, try the version in the top corner of the screen in which you put your right ankle onto your left thigh and pull it towards you until you feel the stretch in your glutes. Repeat this on the other side, pulling the opposite knee with the opposite hand down and across your body to open up the hip, or alternatively repeat the figure 4 stretch. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you have a swap of sides. The next exercise we're going to do later on your back is to move to single knee to chest. As the name suggests, we're going to pull a single knee in towards your chest, mobilising the hip and lower back into a gentle bit of flexion. Grab hold of the knee or shin and give it a hug for a second or two before swapping sides. Keep the other foot flat on the floor with the knee bent and try to keep the back of your head in contact with the floor. If you can't, use a pillow to support your head. We're then going to turn single knee to chest into a hamstring stretch by grabbing the back of your thigh instead of your knee and extending through the knee to stretch the back of your thigh. Again, looking for 1 minute holds, and if not, swapping legs as required. We've also given you an optional variation on the hamstring stretch in kneeling, this time with your leg out in front to stretch. As you feel the stretch diminish, you can lean forwards to increase this stretch. If you want to take the stretch off a little bit, just make sure you keep the knees slightly bent. Next exercise that we're going to look at is arms overhead with heel slides. Start with your hands interlaced on your tummy, both knees bent up, feet flat on the floor, and then simultaneously reach one heel from your tailbone, reaching both arms over your head, keeping your elbows nice and straight. Return the legs and hands back to the starting position before repeating on the other side. Try and really telescope your arms and legs away from each other, allowing your lower back to gently arch away from the mat. The goal of this exercise is to open up the front of the hip and the armpits, extending through both your hip and lower back. We're going to do arm openings next. Lay as shown on your side, head supported with a head block, pillow or even a thick book. You're going to open your arms up, creating an arch over your body. Make sure you keep the hips stationary and look at your moving wrist throughout. You should feel this mobilising through your thoracic spine where your ribs attach to your back. Make sure you do this on both sides to ensure that you don't walk around in circles for the rest of the day. Make sure you have a roll over and repeat on the other side. Next up, we're going to do high dorsal raises or half cobra. During this exercise, we're going to lay as shown, pushing through your hands to lift your ribs away from the mat. If you're feeling comfortable with this range of motion, try pushing a bit harder through your hands to straighten your elbows to increase the range of motion. Moving on from the half cobra, we're going to do child's pose next. Start on your hands and knees and slowly lower your bum towards your heels, keeping your elbows straight and forearms off the mat at all times. This exercise works into flexion and stretches your lats. We can increase the lat stretch in this exercise by reaching across to place your left hand on top of your right, holding for a few seconds before repeating on the other side. The next exercise is called puppy dog, as it's similar to half a down dog position. This is a great exercise to work into thoracic extension and open up through those armpits again. Hold this position for as long as you feel comfortable for a stretch or just a few seconds for some mobility work. Another exercise in 4-point kneeling is threading the needle. This time we're reaching your right arm between left wrist and knee and then vice versa. This one is particularly useful for thoracic rotation and you should feel between your shoulder blades. Cat stretch is up next. In one direction, we're going to arch your back by tucking your tailbone under, lifting your ribs towards the ceiling and tucking your chin towards your chest. To reverse this, we're going to lift your head, neck and shoulders while simultaneously lifting your tailbone towards the ceiling, gently working between your ranges of motion. This one is great for global spine flexion and extension. From there we're going to move on to stretch your adductors out by shifting one leg out to the side from the 4-point kneeling position and lowering your hips back towards your ankles to increase the stretch. As you can see from the video, I need to work on my adductor mobility. And from there have a swap of sides. Next we're going to stretch out our hip flexors. In a split kneeling position with your toes tucked under at the back and heel in line with your knee, squeeze your glutes and tuck your tailbone under, stretching off the front of your hip. Keep kneeling nice and tall and don't lean forward onto your front leg. Pause the video if you want to hold the stretch for a bit longer than me. Also, if you want to increase the stretch, lift the same arm as the leg you are stretching and lean away from it. Apologies for the belly flashing. Repeat, but on the other side this time. From there we'll move on to side flexions next. In high kneeling, keeping your bum away from your heels, slide your right hand to your right knee and then your left to your left, opening up the opposite side of your back. Try and keep your pelvis nice and stationary, i.e. you should struggle to touch the mat, unless you have arms like a gibbon of course. So to progress this we can also reach the other arm up above your head to increase that range of motion. Again, definitely should have got a bigger jumper for this video. Next up are rotations in kneeling. Cross your arms across each other and slowly rotate one side and then the other. Again, try and keep your pelvis in an imaginary block of concrete to ensure that this rotation occurs in the middle and upper portion of your back and not that lower part. And finally we have roll downs. Start on the back edge of your mat, feet hip distance apart and a small bend in your knee. Slowly unstack each vertebra as you roll down through the spine, one level at a time, going as low as you feel comfortable with. Restacking each one back up one at a time as you return back to the start, head, neck and shoulders nice and tall. Thank you very much for watching our video. Hopefully you found it useful. Click on the subscribe button if you did, as it helps us to continue to grow the channel and keeps us motivated to make more videos for you. Leave a comment below asking any questions you might have on the video. If you found this useful, please share and look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks again.